Oh.
For no reason.
Put spraying off of that thing into the statue, I suppose.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all this fine Monday morning? Monday morn.
Lady Fool, how are you?
Oh no, she's not good. She's had a rough go of it. Has anyone watched the TV show The Spanish Princess? Oh no, oh Renee, I'm sorry. Has anyone watched The Spanish Princess? We're watching The Spanish Princess right now. It's pretty good. I'm actually way into it, like, as a show, but, like, big bummer for a lot of these characters, right? Yeah, it is, Renee. It's good. Would you say are you enjoying it? Yeah.
Tutors are jerks.
Yeah, tutors, not good people. Not good. Not nice. We don't. Yeah, I mean, who's surprised, right? Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, like, I know we're not surprised, but, like, a little bit almost even worse than you'd imagine. I really need to take these pods to the recycling place this week. This is a necessity at this point.
They are meatheads.
Yeah, poor Lady Pool. She's having a real rough go of it right now in the park we're at. So, I didn't know anything about her in real life.
Listen, everyone, if your partner needs to fix the cart, take all the stuff off the cart first.
Yeah, no spoilers though, babe.
No spoilers about Lady Pool's husband?
No spoilers. No spoilers, babe.
Okay, well, cart repair, safety first.
Yeah, safety first in all repairs, you guys.
Fixing the axle on your
old-timey cart. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So Lady Margaret Pole, I didn't even know she was a real person. So when the show was like doing all this stuff about her, Secret Fiance was like, well, maybe she's one of those people that they just like, you know, like made up or whatever, yada yada, because that happens in historical fiction shows. Or they like combine multiple people to make her. No, she is a real person. So the stuff that they're doing with her is real. And if any of you watched not Bridgerton. If any of you watched, what's the other one? Darn it. Downton Abbey. She was the third daughter or the second daughter, one of them in Downton Abbey. What? Yes. He is a seeker because he wants to be. I would never force anyone to be a seeker, but I respect everyone's wishes. It is a sunny day in LA today. Is it sunny where you are? Thank you for the new follow, Amy. How are you today? So today marks the 1st of April. No, he's never going to be shown. Nope. Today is the 1st of April, which means I am starting my next novel today. So I gave myself the challenge of writing 1,000 words a day for the month of April. Oh, that's exciting, Kasara. It's going to be a good one. We're reading Paris Hilton's memoir, which so far has been phenomenal. The second day of Paris's memoir is not uploaded on the YouTubes because I have been having difficulty downloading the file, but I'm going to keep trying. So we'll see what happens with that. Whoa! That's okay. You don't have to be sorry. Here's your coffee, dear. Huh? I said, that's okay. You don't have to be sorry. Sorry? All of the knives. So yeah, today I start writing and I will be doing accountability check-ins on my page where I let you know at the end of each day my word count and all that. I'm going to schedule my wisdom to oh my gosh, Grace. Oh, you're going to be book clubbing with us real hard because you're going to be sitting and sad and I'm so sorry. Grace, loses her, I guess, loses parents insurance in June, because of age, and so she has to get some teeth out before then.
The key to that, make your hospital
Yeah, make your place really comfortable. Well, she has Kyle also to help her out. She won't be alone. Yeah, okay, here's the thing. Like, I was brave. I was like, I don't need it. I never have to take pain medication. And then I woke up they were like, they literally were like, just so you know, day 3 is really bad. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And like day 1 and 2, I was like, psh, this is nothing. Like, it's a little annoying, but I can handle anything. I'm so strong. I was 18 or 19, you know, like stupid kid, right? And I didn't take anything. And then I woke up in the middle of the night, the morning of the 3rd day, and it felt like there was a jackhammer going into my jaw. And I was like in hysterics crying. And I didn't live with my mom. And I called my mom and she came over and she was like, take the medicine, you crazy person. And, you know, so that's what I did.
You called her instead of taking the medicine?
Well, I didn't, I guess I didn't have it with me or something. She might have had to bring it over. I can't remember what happened, but I did call my mom and she did come over.
How old were you?
19, 18, something like that. Amanda, why? Is it an allergy? Yes, pain management is extremely important. Me too, Anya, me too. Coffee's so good for you. So I don't know how true that really is, but yeah, you should, Grace. I think you should. I think you should. I do. Hey, Cindy. Good morning. Everybody want to say hi to our Monstera? Hello, Monstera. You're so beautiful. No, I get sick from them. When I donated my kidney, they forced me. Whoa.
Donated a kidney? Wow.
You must really love somebody. All right. Boop, boop, a doop. Fixing the tripod because it's whoop, being funny. Has anyone seen Becca? I want to make sure she's okay. I haven't seen her this morning. Yeah, so accountability check-ins will begin again today for my writing. If you notice that I'm not writing, feel free to, you know, bother me as much as you'd like. I think so, Liz. I think so. I just always like to check, you know.
Yeah.
What?
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 What? Listening to book club while I do my makeup. That seems like a really fun, I like listening to things while I do my makeup, so that seems logical.
Sometimes you say something outlandish and then...
That's right. April Fool's, no accountability. Wah, wah. We were talking about April Fools before. Has anyone seen any bad April Fool jokes yet this morning?
The worst day of the internet. It's all lies and bad jokes.
Yeah. No one's seen any bad ones yet. That's okay. It's probably for the best.
Have they seen some good ones?
Oh, have you seen some good ones? Okay, I have to ask everybody a funny question. Do you ever see people's names pop up when they enter lives or when they comment on things and just think like, wow, I love that person's username? Because sometimes they're really good. No, yeah, everyone's saying they haven't seen any yet. No good, no bad. No, I wonder if my coworkers will do some of it. Yeah. Huh. Sometimes I see people's usernames and I'm just like, you're mad clever. None for Grace either. Wow. And Grace works at a school. You would think that they would, well, yeah. Huh. Maybe April Fool's has gone the way of the dinosaur. I bet I'll get one later. I have class with a goofy man. That's funny. The day's young for you and me, Tressa, but the day's not young for everybody. It's almost noon in some places.
What day is young?
I don't have a song for that. Is that weird?
You don't have a song for the day is young?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, duh. I've seen 2 companies do them, Pair Eyewear and Dubia Roaches. What did Pair Eyewear do? I don't know who Dubia Roaches is.
They sell roaches.
Who sells roaches?
And
I have only seen 2 people today I'm hold up in my office today. That's fair. Okay, well, that's different.
Ready?
Yeah, we're gonna smoothie dance, you guys. Is everybody ready? Please get your dancing shoes on immediately. Paris loves to dance. She told us that. So we're gonna dance with her and Secret Fields. Yes. I'll ask in a second. Do the smoothies with eggs froth more?
They froth a little more, and they also taste very smooth. Like it like adds this like, I don't even know how to describe it.
Velvety.
They taste almost velvety.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can never get over it, it tastes amazing. It's the best.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of lemon in there with them also. Boom.
Boom. All right. So we are reading chapter 3. Hey, Shira. What's shaking, bacon? Chapter 3 of Paris Hilton's memoir. It's quite good. Quite good. All right. I turned 14 in February of 1995. I loved Toy Story and Jumanji and hopping up and down with one arm in the air singing at the top of my lungs to Montel Jordan's This Is How We Do It. I was in 8th grade at Catholic school. We wore uniforms, boxy basics, but Nikki and I found ways to shorten our skirts and style them with our favorite Hello Kitty accessories, clever shirt tucking techniques, and blown out hair. I couldn't wait to get home and kick that plaid skirt and starchy blouse into a corner. I tore around in surfer shorts and baggy tees and sneakers. I slept in boxers and baseball shirts and swiped Dad's clean laundry. I was a tomboy, but I certainly didn't think of myself as a child. I had a beeper and my very own phone line. Thank you.
What a color.
Oh, I didn't even see the text here. Yes, if you could, that'd be great. Whatever they have. Yeah, if they've got any, especially clear, always. Morning, Jen. I had a beeper and my very own phone line, which connected to my very own answering machine. I recorded the answering machine message over and over, trying to make my voice raspy and alluring, like the phone sex lines that advertised on late night TV. Hey, it's Paris. I'm not here right now, but I really want to talk to you. I lay on my bed in the evening, gossiping with my friends about very grown-up things, like whether Rachel and Ross on Friends would ever get together, and what was happening on after-school reruns of Beverly Hills 90210. Shannon Doherty was the bad girl icon of the mid-90s. You couldn't check out at the grocery store or buy candy at a newsstand without seeing her all over the tabloids. She posed almost nude for Playboy. She partied with guys fueled with girls, and then, unforgivable, she left the show. The same audience that made her a breakout star of the show turned on her, and we all went with the flow. What a slut, what a bitch, all the generic comments that apply to a girl everyone loves after she becomes the girl that they love to hate. Mom had her hands full with the boys, so my messes and my pets and my bouncing around were increasingly getting on her nerves. We'd always been close, but now we were feeling some of the frictional burn that happens naturally between moms and teenage daughters. Mom was super conservative. I was super not. I blazed Onyx's back the fuck up. I've never seen it written like this before. I don't know if I can even show you guys. It's written as one word, but like without the letters. It's very funny. Anyway, I was like, what is this word? On repeat, and wore rude message tees from Gadzooks. I mouthed off and failed to write thank you notes. And whenever I wanted to avoid the gauntlet of parental permission, I climbed out my bedroom window and maneuvered down to the ground like Super Mario. Hey, Becca, we were asking about you. The nuns complained about my school day fidgeting, shit disturbing, and lack of attention. I was frequently grounded, and my solution was to sneak out. One time, Nicole and I hatched a plan to go to a school dance we were supposed to be grounded from because of our generally unruly behavior. We went to a store called Judy's in the Beverly Center and bought twin outfits. Velvet shorts with crop tops and fishnets. Not in good taste, but not horribly inappropriate. You see sexier stuff on Dance Moms. Then, we went to her dad's house and on the pretense of working on a school project or something, put on the outfits and pulled on baggy pants and jackets over them. Off we went to the dance with both sets of parents thinking we were at the other person's house. We were having a family meeting because Mommy's done with fighting. Oh, fair enough. I understand that. Aunt Sasha's also done with the fighting. Yeah, I'm also done with it. We got a huge thrill out of stuff like that. The planning, the intrigue. We never did anything terrible. We just loved feeling free and trying to outsmart anyone who we thought was trying to keep us down. We almost got caught and grounded again, which seemed terribly unfair to us at the time. We were just exploring. What is it like to feel sexy? What does sexy even mean? Totally valid questions to teenage girls. But it's problematic when the girls go into that exploratory phase feeling secretive and ill-informed. If the message you send is we don't talk about such things, then guess what? Your kids move towards adulthood with the idea that being adult means keeping secrets. The nuns didn't teach us anything about reproductive health in biology class. We certainly didn't cover Lolita in English class. Mom didn't talk about things that fell into the nebulous categories of private and dirty. I learned the basics of feminine hygiene from ads in 17. My understanding of sexuality was a fog machine of Madonna videos, Calvin Klein commercials, and a vaguely naughty impulse that made me feel the same sting of guilt I felt when I swiped a tube of lip gloss from my mom's purse. Neither of which is bad, by the way. You can borrow your mom's lip gloss. It's okay, guys. Don't worry about it. So, with middle school graduation just around the corner, in my mind, I was pretty much in high school, which pretty much means you're grown up, right? When the yearbook came out, all the 8th graders were pictured with caps and gowns, and I was pictured with the caption, finest girl. That's another great word, isn't it? You're doing fine, you're okay, or nothing wrong with this little girl, she's fine, or maybe fine, like delicate, like a dragonfly wing. But obviously, fine is like hot in this case, like sexy. I was the sexiest of the 8th grade girls because sexy 8th grade girls, that's a thing, right? Okay, well that's different. My mom's one of those moms too, Becca. Like a Halloween costume? I was fine with being finest girl and I leaned into it. Meanwhile, all the girls in my class were crushing on this handsome young teacher. I always say how ridiculously hot he was, very Abercrombie, tousled hair, penetrating eyes. Everyone loved him, including the nuns. But he chose me, the finest girl. I've got a crush on you, he said, flashing a flirty smile. He made me feel noticed and important in a grown-up way. He flattered and teased me and said that all the other girls were talking about me behind my back because they were jealous. Jealous of my hotness, because their boyfriends probably wanted to break up with them the second I walked into the room. He asked for my private phone number and cautioned me not to tell anyone. Bless you.
Thank you.
Someone fire this teacher immediately. It's our secret, he said, and I kept that secret like candy under my pillow. I never felt like I was being manipulated. I felt like I was being worshipped. I was like Marilyn Monroe waiting to happen. He couldn't help the way he felt because I had cast my spell on him. Why wouldn't I love this narrative? It was all about me, gorgeous little me. I was focused on my intoxicating beauty instead of his inappropriate behavior. Mr. Abercrombie called me almost every night and we talked for hours about how amazingly mature, beautiful, and intelligent I was, how sensual, misunderstood, and special. He reminded me that Princess Diana was 13 years younger than Prince Charles, and Priscilla Presley was my age when Elvis fell in love with her. I deserved a rock star. I deserved a prince because I was a princess, and I deserved to be cherished and loved in the way that 8th grade boys know nothing about. Mr. Abercrombie made me believe that I was rare and precious, and you know what? I was. Every 8th grade girl is rare and precious. Every 8th grade girl is a treasure, like a priceless work of art. So you'd like to think that every 8th grade teacher will be like a security guard in an art gallery. He's not here to enjoy the beauty, he's here to protect it. He's there to enforce the rules, and rule number 1 is do not touch. Keep your fingers, lips, and man bits off the masterpieces. It should be obvious that the girl with the pearl earring deserves a chance to smile her wistful smile without some creepy guy feeling her up, because damage to that precious work of art can be hidden but never undone. My teacher asked me almost every night, "Are your parents home?" And one night when they were out, I said, "No, just the nanny." "Come outside," he said. "I'm waiting for you." I threw on sneakers and climbed out my bedroom window and slid down the drain pipe. Night air filled my lungs along with the smell of mown grass and gardenias. I saw a late model SUV idling at the top of the driveway. I climbed into the passenger seat, and the teacher pulled me into his arms and kissed me. The intensity of it stunned and delighted me. My brain lit up and flushed with adrenaline, curiosity, and a host of feelings I couldn't even name. This terrifying, blissful kiss went on for what seemed like a long time and seemed to be evolving into something more. I don't know where we would have taken it if my parents hadn't pulled into the driveway. Headlights spilled across the windshield, and then the spell was broken. I glimpsed my dad's stunned face. The teacher jammed his key into the ignition and peeled out. I clutched the edge of the seat as we fishtailed down the driveway. He sped like a maniac through the posh streets of Bel Air and Westwood, reeling around the corner, freaking me out the whole time. I giggled, nervous, heart pounding, ears ringing. Oh my God, I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. This was like Bonnie and Clyde. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Mr. Abercrombie sounded like he was crying. My life is over. What am I doing? What did you make me do? Eventually, he circled back and dropped me off in front of my house. He didn't even kiss me goodnight like I imagined somebody would if you were on a date. It didn't happen like a rom-com. He just dumped me out of the car and sped away. I sprinted across the yard, scrambled up the drain pipe, climbed in the bedroom window, and dove under my covers. My parents burst into my room, beyond furious, both of them screaming at me. There were too many words to sort out. A solid wall of rage. I blinked my big eyes and said in a dreamy baby voice, "What? What are you even talking about? I've been sleeping." I didn't know what else to do. I'm sure they didn't believe me for a second, but whatever. I just wanted them to go, and obviously they just wanted to be gone. So they went out of my room, and no one ever mentioned the awkward incident again. The school year was almost over, but that last month or so was fraught with drama at school and at home. I never told a soul, but somehow people seemed to know. Maybe I imagined it, but things felt different. He was still Mr. Abercrombie, but I was no longer the finest girl. I was the Shannon Doherty of Catholic school. Everyone loved to hate me. Nothing I did was right. I didn't know how to feel or what to do. I was trying to process it all in the lonely, confusing space of secrecy. During the school dance after graduation ceremony, I went over to McDonald's, and when I came back, the chaperones wouldn't let me in. The nuns were like, "You're done, bitch, get the fuck out." I mean, they probably didn't use those exact words, but they were clear. I had to call my mom to come get me, and knowing that she'd be livid and embarrassed, that was the end of my happy life in Barbie's Bel Air dream house. Mom and Dad sent me to live at my grandmother's house in Palm Springs just for the summer, I thought, but it turned out to be for much longer. I don't know if there were any repercussions to the teacher or if there was any attempt to prevent him from choosing another little girl. My parents never volunteered any information, and I never asked, but I assumed the fear of bad publicity would have prevented them from making a scene or pressing charges. I understand how they could have reasoned this was in my best interest. For 25 years, I framed this episode in my mind as my first kiss, because even though it wasn't my first kiss, it made all the kisses that came before it seem like kisses I gave my ferrets. I never allowed myself to talk or even think about what it really was, or why I climbed out the window to kiss that stupid, I can't say the word here on TikTok, but the P word. It took decades for me to actually speak the word. Casting him in the role of child M meant casting myself in the role of victim. I just couldn't go there. I couldn't accept all his praises, all those affirmations that an 8th grade girl desires and desperately needs to hear came from a place of malevolence, and I was stupid and vain enough to buy it. Like dreaming about a lover's gentle touch, but realizing when you wake up it's actually a roach crawling on you. I couldn't reconcile the fact that I had enjoyed something that was in reality utterly vile. I feel physically ill now, seeing it in perspective. I wanted to be a spider, not a fly, and as it played out, I was the one who was disgraced and sent away, so I must be the one at fault, right? As surely as plastic bags make the wind blow, the shame was on me for ruining this poor man's life. And the shame is still on me. Everyone now, knowing in my grown-up mind, even now, knowing in my grown-up mind that no child is ever to blame for inappropriate adult behavior, my face is literally burning as I sit here telling you this terrible secret. I'm not sure I'll ever fully be able to shake it off, but it is a key part of my story, the catalyst for much of what's to follow. I cried when I read Marilyn Monroe's memoir, My Story, and I was inspired by the fact that she found courage to talk about being essayed by her aunt's neighbor when she was in grade school. The man groomed her with charming banter and lured her into his room with smooth kindness. He locked the door and felt her up, telling her she was beautiful and he couldn't help himself. And then he unlocked the door and told her to never tell anyone. He tried to give her a nickel for ice cream, but little Norma Jean threw the nickel in his face and ran to tell her aunt, who scolded her for lying about this neighbor who was an upstanding gentleman. A few days later, her aunt took her to a religious revival meeting where the man who'd essayed Marilyn loudly prayed for her sins to be forgiven. I cried in bed that night and wanted to die, Marilyn says in My Story. I thought, if there's nobody ever on my side that I can talk to, I'll just start screaming. But I didn't scream. It's infuriating to me now to think about how readily Marilyn and I both accepted the narrative of our physical appearance being the excuse for someone else's criminal behavior. But how could we not? We were given a choice. A, you're a stupid child who was deceived, used, and thrown away like garbage. Or B, you're an irresistible siren whose beauty and allure have the power to change someone's mind and sway their soul and alter their behavior. Given the choice between victim and influencer, Marilyn and I embraced our siren songs. Yeah. I know. You wonder that about a lot of people though, right, Becca? I mean, like Anya was saying, and I don't mean to use, I know Anya feels really bad about what she thought before because she didn't know, but like knowledge is power, right? In all these cases. So like if you know more, you have more empathy, right? I think it is a really interesting thing, but it is really interesting like what she's saying about Shannon Doherty, right? And the same thing that we're all learning right now about Drake Bell, right? So like everyone for a long time just thought he was just a jerk. But it turns out he was just really grappling with some stuff that kids shouldn't have to be grappling with. And so he freaked out at people, you know, and that is a cry for help, literally, you know? It's a narrative that people feed to cover up XYZ, ABCD, Q, you know what I mean? So it's just, it's a tactic and a narrative. Yeah. I don't know. The microclimate of Palm Springs makes for a prime resort real estate. The surrounding area is a blazing hot frying pan full of scorpions and cactus plants. But Palm Springs is positioned to benefit from shadows cast by the San Jacinto? I think it is. San Jacinto Mountains. The weather stays nice most of the time. High society people started going there in the early 1900s because the warm desert air is good for dainty Victorian women's problems like consumption and hysteria, which was a catch-all term for PMS, menopause, or whatever condition the woman gave a woman the crazy idea that she was allowed to express an opinion. I didn't read that sentence very well, so I'm going to read it again so you guys can get the humor of it because this is extremely well done. High society people started going there in the early 1900s because the warm desert air was good for dainty Victorian women's problems like consumption and hysteria, which was their catch-all term for PMS or menopause or whatever condition gave the woman a crazy idea that she was allowed to express an opinion. According to legend, Marilyn Monroe was discovered by a William Morris talent scout in the sense that Columbus discovered America as she lounged by the pool at Charles Farrell's Racket Club in Palm Springs in 1949. Conrad Hilton came along in the early 1960s and built a luxury hotel there with a
99-year lease. By the time I arrived in Palm Springs in the summer of 1995, the racket club was between owners and overgrown with weeds. Half the stores in Palm Springs Mall, including the anchor stores, iMagnum and Saks, were closed. Downtown Palm Springs was still a playground for the Hollywood elite, but the neighborhood where I lived with Mom's mom was mostly full of little old ladies with blue hair. My grandmother was not one of them. My grandmother's hair was a coppery red, a color of a brand new penny, and she didn't step outside without applying fire engine red lipstick. She was glamorous, always decked out in diamonds. She enjoyed her jewels, the more the better, and she made it look beautiful. Graham Cracker was a force of nature who shifted the energy of every room she walked into. She was a character, loved being social, loved being gorgeous. Instead of trying to fit the typical mold, she relished in being herself. In a word, Graham Cracker was sliving. Sliving is a word I invented a few years ago at a Halloween party. I started to say slaying, but I took a sharp left towards living your best life, and sliving came out. Oh, sliving, okay. We all died laughing, but I was thinking, that's a great word. I'm a trademark it like yesterday. I may have been slightly tipsy, but it is a great word. It's a movement and a lifestyle, and my grandmother was sliving personified. Looking back, I'm so glad that I had that time with her. She showed me what style is, what strength is, and how the two fit together. It seemed to me like she ruled that town. Everyone loved her style and spirit. Even as a kid, I recognized that. She didn't have the resources I saw on the Hilton side of the family, but she made things happen with audacity and strength of will. Work hard and be independent, she told me. Don't let a man tell you your life. You're a star. You're the most gorgeous thing on this planet. Men will bow down to you, but you have to know what you want and go for it. One day I came home upset because a boy was being mean to me in class. Graham Cracker knew his parents, so she called him up on the phone and cursed him out. Like, listen, you ugly little pimple face, don't you F with my granddaughter. If you so much as speak to her again, I'll come over there and destroy you. Language aside, she set a powerful example. Stick up for the ones you love, and love yourself enough to stick up for you. I loved the summer with my grandma, but when summer ended, Mom came and enrolled me in 9th grade at Palm Valley School, a private college prep school in Rancho Mirage, an easy half-hour commute from Grandma's house. I didn't see this as a punishment for what happened with my teacher. Lots of kids go away to prep school. It's not a big deal. Also, I guess since they had to be away a lot, they felt that I was safer with Grandma than I was with the nanny. I was smarter than most nannies. I was not smarter than Graham Cracker. Nobody ever was or ever will be. I was devastated to learn that my family had moved back to New York City without me. My grandma's house was definitely the nicest of all the places I could be imprisoned, but I was stuck living next to the golf course in a desert while my family took up residence at the Waldorf Astoria. This was a bitter pill to swallow. I was a 14-year-old kid. I wanted to be with my family. I needed my mom, and I missed the clean smell of Chanel No. 5 on her wrists. I missed trying on clothes in her overflowing walk-in closet. I longed for the amazing afternoons at the zoo with my dad. My little brother Baron was growing taller so fast I hardly recognized him. My little brother Conrad was a toddler. I hardly had the chance to know or play with him or love him the way that Nikki and I had loved on Baron when he was a baby. I was not a bad girl. I could be mouthy sometimes, uncooperative, stubborn. In other words, I was 14. If your 14-year-old kid walks around like a perfect little angel all the time, they should probably be tested for Lyme disease. I'd never had a drink of alcohol or tried any kind of drugs. I never smoked cigarettes. I didn't swear or lie that much. And even though I had the kind of arguments teenage girls routinely have with their moms, I love my parents, and I knew they loved me. It just hurt me so deeply to think about my family having breakfast and hanging out in front of the TV, all the little things that were happening without me. I cried a lot, wanting my mom, wanting my siblings, wanting to go home. I didn't know what my family wanted. Not me, apparently. So I did what people do when they don't have family and they need one. I made one. That's a good skill to learn because pretty much everyone at some point in life goes through a phase when they're estranged from the family they're born into. For many people, it's more than a phase, it's a lifestyle. So many of my LGBTQ friends and fans exist in that space. And without oversharing my own stuff, I always try to make them feel seen and loved. I get it. Thank God for Graham Cracker. She and I got along like peas in a pod. I never expected her to play the role of demure old lady, and she never cast me as the Catholic schoolgirl. Seriously, she probably would have ended that teacher like a dunzo. If she had known about it, I'm sure. We were just ourselves, graham cracker and me. She told me at least 1,000 times, before you were born, a psychic told me this. This baby girl will someday be one of the most photographed and most famous women in the world. Bridget Bardot, Audrey Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe, Grace Kelly, you'll be bigger than all of them. I'd never been allowed to wear makeup or go on real dates or hang out at the mall before, but Grandma wasn't uptight about any of that. She schooled me on sensitive topics Mom declined to talk about, boys, bras, mascara, and all other matters that were totally appropriate and necessary for a girl of 14. She took me to the salon and let me get my honey brown hair bleached blonde and cut in layers like Farrah Fawcett. She schooled me on current makeup trends, matte foundation, exaggerated lip liner, plucked to perfection eyebrows, and subtle glitter finishes. She was the master of the Nefertiti eye, an icy blue or lavender lid with silvery white up to the brow bone, but I prefer the early grunge trend that favored a smoky eye. Definitely more photographed, definitely, for sure. Grandma let me go to the mall on weekends and made sure I had money for the food court. She let me date and go to parties, and I was allowed to have male and female friends over to watch TV in my room, so I didn't have to sneak out. I was free to do a lot more than my parents ever allowed, but my grandmother set boundaries, and she wasn't kidding. 9th grade was the last year that I really got anything out of school. I never cut classes, I did my homework, and I thought about college. I was dating my first real boyfriend, Randy Spelling, who lived with his parents, Aaron and Candy Spelling, and his sister Tori in a legendary 56,500 square foot mansion called the Manor. Randy's house had a movie theater, a bowling alley, and a lot of other things that made it fun to be his girlfriend. He was a couple years older than me and had his driver's license, so he came to visit me in Palm Springs, and once he rented out a cool bungalow with a pool and a hot tub. We made big plans for the weekend. Not sex plans, just fun. I was a virgin and very clear about the fact that I would be saving myself for my husband. Raised with a Catholic view of virginity, I looked up to my mom and wanted to marry someone like my dad. They were loyal and kind to each other, cherished each other, and I wanted to be cherished like that. And it was ingrained into me that to be the right kind of wife, you had to be a virgin when you got married. She drilled into my head that guys only wanted what they can't have, so giving it up meant being unwanted the next day. She said, beep boop, were beneath me. That's for girls who are desperate. You don't have to get on your knees. You're Paris Hilton. My mom always told Nikki and me, never sell yourself short or give yourself away to someone who doesn't appreciate your value. See yourselves as the Chanel purse. You're the Hermes original, not the thrift store knockoff. So even though I was crazy about Randy, I was like, be the Birkin, and Randy was cool with that. We could still have fun for the weekend, right? It wasn't going to be just the two of us. It was a whole group of kids. Very Beverly Hills 90210 kind of thing. I packed some cute clothes in a little suitcase and told Graham Cracker that I'd be spending the weekend with my friend Crystal. And she was fine with that because she was good friends with Crystal's mom. It didn't occur to me that because they were such good friends, my grandma would call her to check on me. I don't know how she got the address of the rented bungalow, but I think it proves my point about her Palm Springs network. She booked it over there and pounded on the door while we were all in the back chilling in the jacuzzi. I went inside and looked through the peephole. There was Graham Cracker yelling, "Paris, I know you're in there." I grabbed my suitcase, bolted out the back door, and scrambled over the fence. This bungalow was on the edge of a golf course, so I ran barefoot across the green, dodging sand traps, sprinklers, all the way back to Grandma's house. She came home a little while later and was righteously pissed. I tried to run every story I could think of. I swear I was at Crystal's. We were in the guest house, so her mom, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, forget it. There was no lying to Graham Cracker. She looked at me with her laser beam eyes and saw right into my soul. She didn't ground me, but she lectured me about integrity and consequences and made me feel horrible for trying to deceive her. Compared to what high school students are up to today, this was pretty tame. But Mom and Dad had done their best to keep Nikki and me sealed in a Tupperware container of love and privilege, sheltered from the world from the day we were born. Mom grew up working and married young. She had never really had the chance to experience normal teen years, if there is any such thing. So I think that period in my life scared her. The Hilton name was important to them and to me. I was proud to be a Hilton, but I wanted to be Paris too. High school made me feel like I was the queen of my own destiny, looking good, feeling confident, hanging out with friends at Mickey D's. Sometimes I went over to LA on the weekend to spend the night with Papa and Nanu, hanging out with friends, and we usually ended up at the Century City Mall, which was way better than the mall in Palm Springs. That's the mall that we go to get our Nespresso pods, in case anyone's curious. Whenever we were there, my friends and I ran into these two older guys in their late 20s. They were so cute and nice and grown up in their mall clothes, and we felt very grown up about wanting to be their friends, hang out and get our beeper numbers and call us up to shoot the breeze. One weekend, I was at the mall with not a super close friend, let's call her Iffy, and we ran into these two hot guys, and they invited us to hang out at one of the guys' apartments that was not far. The invitation didn't feel weird or out of bounds because these guys weren't strangers. They were nice guys that we'd known for a while. They were older, but we weren't little girls. We were in high school after all. This was mid-morning on a Saturday, and Iffy's parents were expecting us to be home for dinner. So Iffy and I went over, and we were playing music and dancing and just hanging out. One of the guys kept trying to get me to drink this wild berry wine cooler, but thinking ahead, I had brought a bottle of Sprite with me. And I kept saying, "No, I'm good with my Sprite." But he kept coming over to me with this wild berry wine cooler, wild berry wine cooler, wild berry wine cooler. He kept saying, "Don't be a baby. It doesn't even taste like alcohol. It's hardly anything. It's like Kool-Aid. Look, you have to drink it now. It's already open. We can't waste it. Just take a drink." So I took a sip. It was syrupy sweet and tinged with blue. After that, I don't remember much. Broken pieces, fragments, echoes, white noise, black silence. I became aware of a crushing weight on me, suffocating, cracking my ribs. I felt a jolt of panic and tried to get up, but the impulse was lost. As if something had severed my spinal cord. When I tried to scream, there was no air in my lungs. All that came out was a raspy, "Stop, what's happening, stop," until this guy clamped a hand over my mouth aggressively, like hard. And he clamped down on my face and whispered, "It's a dream, you're dreaming." That creepy whisper in my ear was like a mosquito, and then nothing. I woke up alone in a room I didn't recognize. Late afternoon sun beat through the streaky windows, and my eyes felt like 2 stones in my skull. My lips felt swollen and tasted like blood. My body ached, unstable, like I'd been torn in half and glued back together inside my clothes, like I didn't know if my friend had abandoned me or was dead in the other bedroom. I needed to throw up. I went into the bathroom and vomited and washed my face with cold water. Before I opened the bedroom door, I pressed my ear against it. The apartment was silent. I carefully opened the door and stepped into the hallway, and the guy was standing in the middle of the living room between me and the front door. My throat closed and I couldn't breathe. The way he was standing there, it seemed like he wasn't going to let me leave. It seemed like he wanted me to be afraid, but then he just smiled and said, "Hi." I said, "Where's Iffy?" He said, "Oh, they left early. They went for lunch, and you fell asleep, right? Remember? You remember falling asleep." I said, Yeah, I must have fallen asleep." He said, "Did you, have any weird dreams? Do you remember anything?" I focused on the front door and what I thought he wanted me to say. "No, I don't remember anything. I was just asleep, that's all." He kept shuffling back and forth on his feet in a weird, awkward way, asking me if I remembered anything, asking if I had any bad dreams. I just acted like I didn't know what he was talking about, saying I really had to get back because people were waiting for me, and finally he stepped aside enough for me to squeeze past him and get out the door. I tried to run, but my legs were liquid cement. All I could do was stagger down the stairs, terrified to look over my shoulder. I don't remember where I went or how I got back to Grandma's house in Palm Springs. My memories of that day and the days that followed are jumbled and strange, like they've been chopped up and processed in a blender. I never told my grandmother. She kept asking me, "Why are you so moody these days? We're going to change your name to Miss Moody." And I kept pretending to laugh. Spring of 1996 was Celine Dion singing "Because You Love Me." Summer of 1996 was Bone and Thugs' Harmony, "The Crossroads." Randy was becoming less cool about not having sex. I was 15. He was almost 19. We've been dating for a year. All his friends were like, "Yo, he's gonna cheat on you if you don't hook up with him." All his friends and some of mine had already done it, or so they said. I knew something was wrong with me. I wanted to be kissed and held, but if he touched me, my whole body turned to stone. I drank champagne before we did it, and that helped. Going forward, it made a much better how I lost my virginity story. Once upon a time with a cute boy who loved me. I didn't let myself think about that day at the mall guy's apartment. I certainly didn't tell Randy about it, and I never told Nikki. I never told my mom. I didn't even tell Carter until recently. It happened so long ago, and so much has happened since. What would be the point? To be honest, I've hardly thought about it since it happened. Thinking about it makes me feel ruined and embarrassed and sick to my stomach, so I shoved it into the deepest, darkest corner of my mind and refused to see the long shadow that it cast. But something strange has happened to me in the past few years, a shift in perspective, or a shift in the way that I process those memories I'd rather dismiss as bad dreams. You know how you see a spider web lit up with dew? You see all the connections, cause and effect. You see the spinning outward and the death caught in the sticky strands. There's a beauty in the design that brings the galaxy together. and I see myself, I see Star at the center of it all. I'm not saying the world revolves around me. I'm saying my world revolves around me, just as your world revolves around you. And we can't see far enough to know how many worlds intersect with our own, but they do. Things like what happened to me don't happen in a vacuum. Somewhere, I'm certain there are many other women trying to forget about bad dreams in that apartment. Maybe if one of them had told someone, it wouldn't have happened to me. And maybe if I had told someone, it wouldn't have happened to someone else. That's why I'm telling you now, because shame is dangerous, poisonous, and not just for those who carry it. Do you ever wonder why 2 out of 3 sexual assaults go unreported, or do you have the luxury of not caring? A lot of people who hear the story of a 15-year-old girl being essayed or exploited automatically think, stupid girl. Our culture is so good at spinning it that way. We even say it to ourselves. For decades, every time that creepy mosquito voice whispered through my nightmares, I woke up thinking, stupid, stupid, stupid girl. Even the most woke, feminist, cool, enlightened people you know, oh, don't even try to lie about it. You know that's where you go. Who's more generous, evolved, and progressive than Pink? Nobody. She's effing awesome, right? Brilliant. She seems like a great mom who makes me like and respect her even more. But when everyone was buzzing about the sex tape of a certain teenage girl from a soon-to-be hit TV show, a girl who emphatically said over and over again she did not want that tape to be out there, the takeaway was, stupid girl. The whole video is a not at all subtle send-up of corn paparazzi girls, and in general, specifically me, in a parody of the infamous sex tape. The tape, made when I was not legally old enough to be served rum and coke in a bar, was released and monetized against my will. But when that thing hit the internet, the full weight of the public outrage, scorn, and disgust came down on me instead of on the massive crowd of people who bought it, sold it, and sparking a steady drip of fake Paris Hilton tapes, blazing a trail for a whole cottage industry that would ruin the lives of other vulnerable teenage girls in the future. Pink sang about outcasts and girls with ambition and said, that's what I want to see. But she chose not to see it in me. To be clear, I'm not mad at Pink. There's no Pink-Paris feud, that's not a thing. I have the attention span of a gnat, which means I suck at holding grudges. Anyway, anger doesn't help. Honesty does. So I'm being honest right now. Doing advocacy work in the troubled teen space has taught me the toxic nature of silence and shame. And looking back, I see myself trying so hard to reestablish ownership of my body and trying to reclaim what was natural and good in me. And it made a lot of people uncomfortable, so they didn't look beyond it or wonder, what's really going on with this kid? At a tennis tournament last year, I met a very sweet acquaintance of Carter's who said he knew me from Palm Valley High. I searched through decades of names and faces piled in my jumbled memories of the time. Oh, hi, I said, trying to look like I had a clue who he was. I seriously didn't remember him at all, but he mentioned an incident that did ring a bell. One Friday night, there was a 9th grade sleepover movie night where you were supposed to show up at the gym in pajamas with a favorite stuffed animal and stay until morning. Most of the girls arrived in sweat, flannel pajama pants, baggy t-shirts with Care Bears, plushes, and dogs. I showed up in a little silk romper from Victoria's Secret, looking like I was headed for a party at the Playboy Mansion. It wasn't like crazy sexy lingerie or anything, but it was hot pink and pretty short, and I had a live ferret. The chaperone called my grandma and told her I couldn't stay. When I told Carter about it, we laughed until we cried. Maybe it was the ferret, he said. That could be a health code violation and a liability issue. Yeah. I like that Pink has adapted and changed and apologized for it as well. But what Paris is saying is right. She is correct. Even the most progressive people do tend to hold that opinion when they don't look closer at what's going on. It's true. She's right. Because that's how my husband's beautiful, nerdy, sexy, compulsive fixer brain works. He wanted to make it about the ferret. Sure, I patted him on the knee. I bet that's what it was. I don't know how much mom and dad... I don't know how much mom and dad talked with grandma about life in Palm Springs, but they must have been comfortable with it because I stayed there for about a year. My parents visited on a regular basis and took a couple of family vacations and eventually decided to bring me home. I was thrilled to be going home with my family, but heartbroken at the thought of leaving grandma. During the year that I lived with her in Palm Springs, both of our lives had been turned inside out, but we got through it together, and that's what made it bearable. I don't know if she already knew that she had breast cancer. If she did, I'm not sure she told my mom, and I know mom didn't tell Nikki and me until it was obvious that Graham Cracker's fierce red hair was falling out. I was a grown woman living on my own by that time, but I was scared. Those are scary words. breast cancer, and I was crushed by the thought of saying goodbye to Graham Cracker. She was unbreakable, or maybe I just saw her that way because I couldn't stand the idea of losing her. She powered through it for a while, and I let myself believe everything would be fine, but it wasn't. The treatment was hard on her, and the last time I saw her, I cried and clung to her, and I said, I don't want to leave you here. I'm scared I'll never see you again. Get over it, said Graham Cracker. I'm not going anywhere. Promise me? Promise me you're not dying. Well, I'm not dying today, unless you drown me in all these tears. She handed me a Kleenex and helped me fix my makeup. Before I left for the airport, she took my face between her hands and kissed my forehead. I will always be with you, she said. Every time you see a hummingbird, that'll be me. Oh, he does not know what we're reading and he cannot hear us. He's not laughing at this, but that was bad timing for a laugh. Kathleen Mary Dugan Avanzino Richards Carton Fenton was born in Nebraska in 1928. She was the single mom and manager of 3 extraordinary daughters. She was outrageously loving and relentlessly herself. In the series American Woman, produced by Aunt Kyle, Alicia Silverstone played a character based on my grandmother, and there's a great scene where she challenges a guy who's messing with her daughters. You know, Jerry, I see you. You're just a dark, rainy storm cloud hovering over a beautiful tree, and you try to scare everyone with your thunder and your lightning, but you know what? My daughter can take anything you rain down on her, because she's a tree. She's a goddamn redwood. The show is fiction, but that moment is true to her character, true to her fierce belief in her daughters and her granddaughters. Graham Cracker died in 2002 when The Simple Life was still in development. She never got to see the psychic's vision come true, but she didn't need to. It was her own vision that made all the difference. She had the faith in me right down to the last beat of her heart. Whenever I see a hummingbird, I feel her arms around me, and when I did my first NFT drop, trying to bring fierce, talented women artists into a powerful new space, I collaborated with Blake Catherine for the Hummingbird in My Metaverse, which featured planets in flux and a hummingbird in flight. Shout out to Graham Cracker. Wherever she is now, I know she's watching over me. Aw. Well, those were some wild, wild chapters. Wild. Yes. Well, we don't read on Sundays. So hopefully this one will download, even though the other one, yeah, it's a very necessary thought process, you know. This is well done. I know I keep saying it, but kudos to the writing in this. Yeah, seriously, for sure, Amanda. I get that. I completely get that. Yeah, no, we'll upload it. But I mean, I have to say the writing is just, it's top notch here. It's top notch. Yeah. The combination of her story and this ghostwriter, just, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, seriously, Amanda. But I do, and we all love Pink, so this is not anything against Pink, but I think her using Pink as an example is really, it's really poignant. You know what I mean? Because she's even saying it. She's like, look, I love Pink. There's no feud with Pink. But everyone thought Pink was like the cool leftist progressive one, and she was also adding to how much everyone picked on both Paris and Britney. You know? The song was about Paris and Britney. Yeah, they're both mentioned in it. Yeah. She has since changed the lyrics. No, of course not, but it's her story. You know what I mean? Shelley, like, yeah, and Jessica Simpson. That's right. Yeah. And if you haven't read Jessica's memoir, that one's also worth reading. Yeah. Yeah. We're just, you know, working our way through all these girlies, you know? Yeah, Britney's mentioned. The line change is actually in a different song. It is? Oh, yeah. You're right. The line change is in a different song. But either way, she's trying to atone for her misinterpretation of them. which, you know, you need to do. You need to recognize when you're wrong, and she was wrong. I will probably be live later today making slime, though what time I do not know. Right now I'm gonna go write because I need to start my writing, and then Cheryl will be here with jars, and then I'll make slime, and so on and so forth. If you're on Patreon, expect a lot of scheduling stuff to go up today. But yeah. Activator is necessary, I agree. Share. Ooh. All right, I will see you all later, and let's hope, oh, not Shira, I see. Hope I get through 1,000 words today. Keep me accountable. I need to write 1,000 words. I need to start this. Yes, that's a good idea, Amanda. I think that's good. And hopefully the opening to this book that I'm writing will go well and be what I hope it's going to be. We'll see. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.